Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today's going to be a great show. And just to remind you that we're in San Antonio, surrounding areas, and Houston. So howdy to everybody in Houston. And you can find us there. Well, if you're listening to this on the radio, you know what station you're on, don't you? KNTH 1070. In San Antonio, it's KLUP 930 or KSLR 630. So if you're listening on the radio, go to our social media sites and check out the video. It's fun to watch, isn't it? Also, if you're watching on video, check out the radio station. It's fun to listen on Saturdays at 11 o'clock in the morning or Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon. Today, for the Financial Focus, we have Jacob Warren again. He is with Financial Planning HQ, and he works alongside his father, Steve, and his brother, Joseph, to create inspiring financial strategies for families and business owners in San Antonio. Jacob has been a financial advisor for 10 years and is passionate about helping business owners plan their financial success. Jacob loves the outdoors and, most importantly, being a husband to his wife, Catherine, and father to his two kids, Arthur and Camille. Welcome back.
Thank you, Todd. It is great to be here. Wishing everyone a happy new year. It is the 31st, so heading into 2026.
Right. Yeah, we're recording on New Year's Eve. This will air on January 3rd.
There we go.
But you like to talk about businesses and financial planning. So when should younger business owners start creating a plan for exiting the business?
That's a great question, and it's something that's overlooked a lot by younger business owners. But something to think about is that an exit strategy does not mean that you're quitting. It just means you're adequately setting up your business in the future. That way you have control when you leave. And I think a good time to start thinking about, hey, what's going to happen when I don't want to stay in the business or if I want to sell it is once you've created a business that has sustained some long-term growth, has good positive cash flows, you want to start thinking about those items. So really, in short, the earlier, the better. I know, being a younger business owner myself, it's kind of, I'm not going to worry about 30 years from now. It's so far away,
right.
But that's going to get here fast. And the earlier you start doing things, the better. And something that if you're on the fence that you can consider doing is what's called an informal business valuation. It's a lot less expensive than a formal one. And it can just give you an idea of what kind of money you could expect if your business is even a business that somebody would consider buying, things like that.
Yeah, that's great. And I think starting early reminds me of the 7 habits of highly successful people.
Right.
And one of the habits is begin with the end in mind.
Right. Yep. Oh, that's very, very smart. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of business owners again, for someone who doesn't plan to retire or sell their business, what type of planning should they do?
Right. And if I'm correct, you fall into that boat, right?
I do.
You want to work forever.
I love what I do.
Of course,
and I think
yeah.
most business owners feel that way.
Yes. And that's the way I feel as well. We align on that, Todd. But I think a big issue and something that gets overlooked is that most business owners are forced to exit their business by things that are an accident or out of their control.
Right.
So whether that's burnout, a big one is, health issues, right? We all get older, things happen. Cash flow issues, something happens to where your business isn't as viable as it once was. We've seen that with the one everyone thinks about is Blockbuster, right? Things become old. And then also a hot topic now is jobs that AI can easily do in 5 seconds, when people that have been doing these for 30, 40 years that are just all of a sudden not viable as AI becomes more and more of a thing that everybody uses. So just being cognizant of those things and just the fact that you want to continue in your business, continue growing your business, well into the later part of your life, that's not a reason why you shouldn't have a plan in place for if something does happen that, you know who you're going to sell your business to, or you have someone in mind in the business who could take over. And I did want to throw out we were just talking about AI, an AI stat that I looked when I was typing this out, I was thinking about it. What percentage of business owners are forced to exit by accident? It's roughly half of them. So definitely something that you want to be thinking about, and having that plan can easily avoid things like this happening.
Yeah. So even though I don't plan on retiring, I still save money in case something bad happens.
Right.
And so that's part of a good financial plan.
It definitely is, 100%.
What are some things that business owners should be aware of, or if they're planning to exit their business?
The biggest one, I'm going through this with one of my clients right now, is having clean financials. So if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I want to buy your law firm, Todd," the first thing they're going to look at is your books and say, is it organized? Do I understand what the cash flows are, what the break even is, profit and loss, all of that stuff. So the number one thing is definitely having clean financials. And messy books can really, really decrease your business valuation when somebody wants to come in and look at that. And even if your business is crushing it, if your books are a mess, they're going to offer you way less than what your business is actually worth. So that's a big part of it. Another one is showing a real profit as opposed to just kind of making it work out so you're paying less taxes, which I think a lot of business owners do. And so showing the real profit, separating your business and personal expenses is a big one. But really the clean financials is super important. And a good way to do that, Todd, is to have a great team of advisors behind you, a great attorney, a great CPA, a bookkeeper, financial advisor, all these people working to make sure that you're extremely organized, especially if you're planning to sell your business at some point. Having that set up for yourself is a big green light, good thing to do.
Yeah, it's a must-have. When I was first starting, an attorney that was sort of a mentor for me suggested the number one factor for your success is having a good CPA.
Yep.
Because you don't want to get behind on taxes.
Yep. And I think that's something that business owners, happens to a lot of business owners, successful or not, is the taxes part of it. They don't save because they're not told to, and it's business owner taxes are a lot more complicated than W-2. So it's something overlooked.
And that other thing that you mentioned with business owners not wanting to show a profit, that can bite them in the backside.
Yes.
If they're trying to get financing, because the bank wants to see your profit.
Right. I've seen that a lot of when people are trying to buy houses. I've seen that before. So definitely something you want to be aware of, especially like I said, if you do plan on selling your business at some point, it's something that you want to know the ins and outs of for sure.
Yeah. What are some different types of exit strategies?
Yeah, so the most common would be, sell to a third party. Somebody notices your business, or they're in a competing business, or they're wanting to get into the business that you're in, and they come in and say, "Hey, I want to buy your business. What can you show me so I can create a valuation for it?" That's the most common. Another is selling to people that are trusted within your business, right? So if you have for your example, if you had to have a young attorney who you're working with, who you could see like this person can continue on with the law firm without me, selling to them. And then another is kind of similar to that, but having a professional manager, somebody who kind of just steps in, takes over the day-to-day operations, and you take a step back. Those are the common ones. But all three of these kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier. All three of those rely on you being very organized, having your books cleaned up. And a good thing to do if you're planning on selling your business is put yourself in the shoes of the person buying the business, right? You're going into a business, you're putting your hard-earned money into it. You want to make sure and know with certainty that this is something that I should be buying and it's worth it.
Right.
So I think that's a good way if you're planning on selling, to just kind of think of it on the other end of the spectrum and be like, okay, if I'm coming in, I want to make sure that the numbers make sense and there's a lot of organization.
And if you think about your family, if I'm killed and I want my family to inherit my share of the business, I don't want them to have to sell at a low price.
Right.
I want them to get the most value out of it.
That's a very, very good point. Yeah. So all of this kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, is really, especially if you're younger and you have a lot of time, getting all of that structure in place is very, very smart and can save yourself a lot of headache down the road.
I feel young, but I don't know how much time I have left. I mean,
Same.
Only the Lord knows.
Yep.
So what can you do to help someone who's interested in this?
First step is an initial phone consultation, and I'll give out my phone number here towards the end of the segment. But what that is basically it's just a conversation. We'll talk a little bit about your business, see if I'm able to help, and if we're a good fit, there's a good mesh on the phone there. We can schedule what's called a financial roadmap meeting. I've mentioned that I think in all of my segments so far. The financial roadmap is really the crux of our business. It's what we offer to all of our clients, whether they're younger or they're retiring, business owner, non-business owner. And what that is it's just an hour-long conversation. It's a couple, husband and wife. We talk about values. We talk about goals. Get everything out in the open. That way we're all on the same page. And from there, if we're fit to work together, I'll go through what that looks like. But the financial roadmap consultation is extremely valuable whether we do business or not. It's great. I'm married. It's great for my wife and I to be on the same page, know how we view money because everybody is so different. And I think as this relates directly to business owners, it's even more valuable because we talk not just the personal finance side of it, but also you get that extra business side of the financial planning, which is obviously super valuable.
Yeah, if the business owner wants to do better financially every year, you have to figure out how to make the business grow financially every year as well.
Right. They're very much tied together, so it's kind of 2 for 1 there. Yeah.
Do you have any resources for our listeners?
I do. So I usually charge for my consultations, but of course, if anyone's listening to Talk Law Radio and they want to call in, I'm happy to have that complimentary consultation with anybody. If you do want to speak to me about it, my direct line is 210-444-2128. Again, that's 210-444-2128.
Great. Well, thank you for joining me today for the Financial Focus. Have a happy New Year.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much, Todd.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.